November 121 Mike, your turn. Taxi 111.
Hi, I'm Mike Thompson, and welcome to 121 Point Mike Ground School. This video covers part 61.1, Definitions. Now, I'm not going to cover everything, only things that really matter to you in your testing and your flying. And this is all in 61.1b. Right, now pay attention. Aeronautical experience. That's flight time in an aircraft, a simulator, a flight training device for meeting the training and time requirements for a certificate, rating, flight review, or recency requirement. Blech. So the 121 mic of that is, if you're just learning to fly an airplane, you're going to need certain numbers of hours under different flying conditions, and all of your initial flight training will count toward your certificate. But as you move on, you'll see that not all hours count all the time. There are different types of hours, just there are different types of aircraft. An aviation training device. That's a training device other than a full flight simulator or flight training device that has been evaluated, qualified, and approved by the FAA. Now, the 121 mic speak is a full flight simulator. It's one of those things that's on the Stewart platform that moves and exactly replicates an airplane. Many of the things we call simulators actually aren't. And no one really makes flight simulators for small general aviation airplanes. It's just not worth it. And so an aviation training device, like that Redbird FMX I showed you in a previous video, that's more like it. And it's actually an advanced aviation training device because it's so awesome. It's also approved by the FAA. A complex airplane is an airplane that has retractable landing gear, flaps, and a controllable pitch propeller. Now, the 121 mic speak of that. Is it something you won't likely do in your basic training unless you own your own plane that has those features? Most planes will have flaps, but you're going to need all three to actually be classified as a complex plane. Controllable pitch propellers are usually referred to as constant speed propellers, and you need 10 hours for a complex endorsement. We'll get to that later. Cross-country time. We're going to go straight with my definition on this one because it makes a lot more sense. Cross-country time is time earned when flying to and landing at another airport. It's that simple. Now, here's where those different types of hours start to get you. Would you like me to explain?
I would love to hear this.
So would I.
Cross-country, for the purposes of meeting experience requirements for a private pilot license, means that the airport must be at least 50 miles away, 25 for a sport pilot or rotorcraft, or 15 for powered parachute. So, you can't count the short flight to the crosstown airport unless you live in a really wide town. Flight training is any training other than ground training received from an authorized instructor in flight in an aircraft. That one's pretty clear, actually, so let's move on. Ground training. Training from an authorized instructor other than flight training, kind of like this right now. Instrument training is time which instrument training is received from an authorized instructor under actual or simulated conditions, like if you're under a hood or the foggles. And we'll get to that more as we do instrument training. Your instrument rating will probably be your next addition to your private pilot's license. It lets you fly with reduced visibility and without looking outside. Now, when we cover instrument things in later videos, you can't count that as instrument training because it's technically ground school. Got it? A knowledge test is a computer-based or written exam required for a rating or certification. This is what I'm prepping you for right now, the knowledge test. Now, pilot time, we're going to go with the 121 mic speak. That's a time where a person, I, serves as a required crew member, II, receives training from an instructor in an aircraft, full flight simulator, flight training device, or aviation training device, or III, gives training in one of those things. A practical test is a test on the areas of operations for an airman certificate, rating, or authorization that is conducted by having the applicant respond to questions and demonstrate maneuvers in flight or in a simulator or flight training device. That's pretty self-explanatory too. A technically advanced airplane is an airplane equipped with an electronically advanced avionics system, kind of like that Garmin 1000. Now, the 121 point mic version of all this, it's an airplane that doesn't have steam gauges. It's got a glass cockpit, like a Garmin, the G1000 or similar system. Now, why this matters to you is that now you can get a commercial pilot's license without doing 10 hours in a complex aircraft. You can do them in a TAA instead. This change was made because complex airplanes have been going away and glass cockpits are all the rage these days. It's a rule change that actually made sense. Now, I went with the complex endorsement simply because I think complex airplanes are sexier. And you don't need an endorsement to fly a TAA like you do a complex plane. And of course, I'm all for collecting as many qualifications and ratings as I can in life. So that's all the definitions that actually matter to you new pilots. Remember, this is all found in 61.1b. By the way, all these laws fall under Title 14 of the U.S. Code. So in longhand, it's Title 14, Part 61, Subsection 1, for what we just covered. There really weren't too many definitions in there now, huh? We're off to a pretty good start. There's a lot more to come. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. That'll certainly help me out, as will leaving a comment down there below. And stay with me on 121 Point Mike.